Welcome back to Moose Track Studio. I hope you had a really good Thanksgiving. I know we did. We had a couple of friends over and it was a lot of fun. So how did we do in the studio this week? Well, we made a little bit of progress cleaning the control room, but not all that much. To be honest, after we spoke with Chad last time around, we kind of changed the priorities a little bit. It became pretty obvious that we need to get some sketches done of what we want the finished product to be so that we'll have an easier time getting quotes from subcontractors and things like that. So we're going to spend some time on the next video with SketchUp, which is a new tool that we're going to use for doing sketches that was recommended by Chad. But in the meantime, what else can we possibly do? We got a few interesting acoustical issues that we're going to have to deal with.
Okay.
This wall is going to wind up being doubled.
Okay.
And right now it's just studs. This wall, or rather this wall here, is going to wind up being doubled as well. Right now the electrical panel's right here, and this is a finished room.
Okay.
We're wondering, one, do we have enough power in the house to even do this? Two, we'd like to put a sub panel over here that just controls the studio, so we can shut the rest of the house
turn
off.
this into the studio right here.
Yeah, so, well, actually all of this area from here
because this
over.
isn't finished yet.
And then when we put the electrical in, we're gonna need to punch through a middle layer of sheetrock. So right now there's studs on one wall. We're going to sheetrock this wall and then build a second wall on this side.
Yep.
So that's the idea. The reason for wanting to move an additional sub panel over here is so that we could shut the rest of the house off and not worry about ventilation noise. And
That's difficult to do. Yeah. I think it's difficult. Because, you know, you're either feeding it off of here or there.
right.
To shut off this panel above us, the only place to shut it off is outside. And to shut off that one in the garage, the only
problem is if I shut off either of those and they're the thing feeding.
exactly, then you're shutting off.
Then I'm shutting off the thing I wanted to leave on.
Yep. So this guy, you know, you can look at what you have for loads, and this is your well, your garage outlet, septic pump, septic controls, breakfast nook, furnace. It's kind of a big one.
Well, the only other option is to come off the side of the house again.
Mm-hmm.
You said that's not a good idea.
No, because of all the rock work and there, and it's
Can we get to the back side of that panel without having to change? I mean, because it's in that little shed, and we don't need to get to the other side.
Down?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it can. I don't have any reason I need to keep it up there, other than I've got to deal with the fire suppression if I
see, if this guy were to come down, there might be a way to get from here. Like there's a void up there. I'm not sure how big it is from down here without really getting into a ladder and seeing if I can see the wires all turning and going this way. So there might be a way to get them from here to out there.
So my next question is, before we get you involved, what do we need to do?
Just have it framed.
Okay.
Yeah. And then have the both sides or however you want it to be framed in the ceiling down here. And then we just, you know, in your mind, you could just say, hey, I want some outlets here, 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 or you can write down on a piece of paper.
Okay.
And then just come through and pull the circuits out of the panel, make a plan, how many circuits we want.
Well, we've gotten the same advice now for 2 times in a row. Make a plan, do a sketch. and that's probably a pretty good idea. So we're going to add that to the list and move clean the control room down. We'll clean the control room as much as we need to get measurements and things like that. But ultimately, our long pole in the tent, so to speak, is getting a sketch for our electric and getting a sketch for the physical properties that we want the finished product to have. So we're going to go with SketchUp next week and work on that. In the meantime, how did we do with watching the videos, instructional videos, and trying to load our demo track? Well, we got faced with a paradigm shift. So the first thing that we do is create a new project, and then from there our objective is to transfer some already recorded tracks and then set up a click track against them. So after we make the change over and start the project, our screen isn't quite big enough, so we're going to have to take out the transport controls and some of the other stuff for now so we can see what we're doing. The Pro Tools, when you load up a new project, starts with 100 beats per minute on the click track. And the thing I didn't expect was that the click track is actually related to the tempo of the music and not in a hard way. So if you increase the click track, the music increases, and if you're trying to match a click track to the music, it becomes difficult. So we load up our music. We'll import the tracks, the audio tracks, and then from there we select our tune that we're trying to match against, the scratch tracks. We add them in and load them up, open the file, and okay, slap them in there, and it makes a new track. And there we have our new track at 100 beats per minute, but the click doesn't follow with the music very well at all, and so we're going to have to fix that. There's a few different ways that we can change the metronome settings, and so we got to get rid of our transport controls. We type in 136, which is what the new tune should be, and then put our transport controls back and play that and see now. Wasn't quite the result that we anticipated. Instead of making just the click track go faster, everything went faster, and that wasn't really what we were after. So how do we solve this problem? Well, the best way that I can tell to solve it, we had to come up with the exact number for the 136 by using my cell phone and the metronome setting there and tapping it in to get a good estimate. And then we have to delete the tracks that we were using on here and then reload the tracks with the setting already set at 136. So it's pretty easy to see why we need power down in the studio, especially on these dark evenings where it gets dark early. But here's our list for this week, or at least for next week, so that we know where to start. And here's what we added in expenses, which was just 1 month of HitPaw, the video converter. And we had no new software added other than the rest of the Pro Tools plugins, and we had no other equipment added to the studio. So thank you for joining us this week, and we shall see you next time on Moose Tracks Studio. And especially thank you to Jamie River from River Electric.